Hello, church. So here's our devotional for Thursday, May 14th. I will share on the personal note that Barb and I were delighted last night to head over to Ole Valley Middle School and catch the year-end concerts and music presentations that they were doing. We were there because that's the location where Nick has done his second portion of student teaching. It also just happens to be the school of Maya and Shelby Yoder, and got to hear both of them in concert and see the family, and that was a blast and a lot of fun. Nick graduates from Kutztown on Saturday, and look forward to being a part of that as we continue to roll merrily along. We're going to do one more section of introduction for Ecclesiastes. And if you didn't look at the subtitles already, so we're looking at the plot and some of the vocabulary. This is going to feel like a very repetitive letter. Proverbs might have done that a little bit too, but you are going to hear these frequently repeated phrases going through. Towner does a portion that I just found funny enough that I can't let it go, but we will be getting started into the scripture after today. So this is his portion on the plot of the book. Every piece of literature, down to and including one's laundry list, has a plot. That is to say, it moves according to some logic. It aims at some end and follows some structure in order to reach that end. Certain essays and books display their plots prominently, while others conceal them in elaborate ways. People tend to enjoy reading the former more than the latter. It's easier to follow a plot that is clear and understandable. The same is true of biblical text. They all have internal emphases, main points, punchlines, and the like. Some, such as Jonah or the Joseph narrative, are novellas with rising action, climactic moment, and falling action, just like Tom Jones or A Farewell to Arms. Others, such as the epistles of Paul, follow a more tortuous route toward their main emphases. Torturous route was a pretty good line too. Either the book of Ecclesiastes has one of the most torturous plots of any book of the Hebrew Bible, or else it has an extremely minimal one. The latter seems to be more likely. There is no storyline. Unlike any one of the prophetic books, the seams between individual units in Ecclesiastes are often invisible. In fact, it is more difficult to identify most of the individual pericopes of Ecclesiastes. I'll pause there for a minute. A pericope is a specific reading and a text which we can clearly identify as a cohesive unit than in any other book of the Hebrew Bible, except perhaps in the book of Proverbs, which we just did. This much, however, is agreed upon by all. There is a narrator of all the material between Ecclesiastes 1, verse 2, and Ecclesiastes 12, verse 8. All of this material presents itself as being the thought of Kohelet, who we talked about yesterday, and gets defined either as the teacher, the preacher, or in Peterson, the quester. The vocabulary of Kohelet's thought. And this is just going to be the words you can be listening for. And he uplifts some very specific examples. The word all, A-L-L. And the opening thematic statement of the book, Kohelet uses the word all, and he never lets up after that. As we have already mentioned in a couple of previous ones, the word vanity. Vanity of vanities and all is vanity. The noun hebel, which is the Hebrew root, occurs some 69 times in the entire Hebrew Bible, 5 of which can be subtracted because they are the name of Abel, Cain's unfortunate younger sibling. Of the 64 remaining occurrences, 38, or almost 60%, occur in the book of Ecclesiastes alone. The word toil. And if you are pretty familiar with Ecclesiastes 3 and a time for every season, you'll recognize that in the line, what gain have the workers from their toil? That word occurs in the very first section that we'll be doing as well. Also, the word wisdom, coming from the Greek root hakma. And then finally, the word for vocabulary that he uplifts is the word fate. Mikra, I think, is, I'm not positive on the pronunciation, but that's the last one. So these are all the words that we're going to be playing around with and hearing about as we continue. Towner also includes a outline of the book. I think instead of jumping into that, we'll just use that to explore as we're going through the piece, the individual pieces and looking at the book. But hopefully we can give you an overall layout of that. I can't flip the book around to show you because it's going to be reversed with the camera on the laptop. But we'll try to work that piece out to have as a little bit of a guide as we follow along. So that's it for our introductory portions for Ecclesiastes, and we'll be back with you for our Friday devotional as we step into the book itself. See you then. Have a great day.